This is the Red Alert. Civil defense information will be broadcast at 6:40.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Y2K, how can we prepare?
Stop a few of their machines and radios. Throw them into darkness for a few hours.
We are fighting for our lives. My family must survive.
Over 5 years, 1,000 gallons of gas, air filtration, water filtration.
Coming at you live from the frozen tundra that is East Central Alberta, Canada, broadcasting via the auditory and visual mediums to my fellow delinquents across the globe. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. I'm Toolman Tim. Today is October the 30th, 2024, and this is episode 472 of Workshop Radio. How in the world are all my fellow delinquents out there? Look who I have next to me. It has been a long overdue guest, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. And we haven't had you since June, maybe?
It's when
whenever we were in Tennessee
with the girls, yeah.
Well, it's good to have you. So what have you been up to? I haven't seen you in months. Working, she says, yeah. And yes, good to see you, Chris Dixon. I ended up scheduling tonight's and tomorrow night's show, both for tonight. So we just changed that last minute. I knew somebody was going to get confused over that, and I caught it just at the last minute. I seen two were counting down at the same time. So here we are. We got Ryan Pippin in here. Ian, good to see you, brother. That's Ian from Florida.
Yep.
That was, yep. And Byron Roberts. See what I'm drinking out of this evening, sir? My nice, fine Kentucky bourbon. What are you drinking? There you go.
My Diet Coke.
This is the cup that, or the glass that Byron sent to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ryan Pippin wants to know, how was the Spain thing, Becky?
It was good.
Yeah, we got time. This is our Halloween show, so fill us in a little bit on what you did and how much fun it wasn't, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Well, it was. We went with the school, so of course, there was 30 of us, and nobody I've ever met before, except for Grace and my sister Amy. So basically it was like, everybody was new, and we had to, and of course you're gonna, I don't know any of these people. They're all from Alberta. And we had, of course it was done through EF Tours, which I don't know. Are they in the States, or is it just a Canadian thing?
I don't think so. I think it's, well, for anybody who wants to know, that's like an educational based tour. In theory, right? Education.
It's called Education First.
Yes,
tours.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So I don't know if they're in the States or not. So they try to do everything on group bookings and cost related and everything. So they didn't book the greatest flights, which was kind of disappointing. And they didn't, and we had like huge layover in Montreal and of course, and I found, and I'm not, and like, I'll never complain. It was a great trip. It really was. But I did find that it wasn't planned very well. Yeah. Like we
read up on the company after the fact and discovered that they weren't,
but I had a great time. And like, the only thing is that they tried to fit too much in a short span of time, and nothing, and you can't enjoy anything. Because we went to a couple mausoleums, and we went to like a couple places where they were like rush, and we couldn't get because I love my history, and I love everything to do with history. So there was a lot of artifacts and stuff in some of the areas we went to that they wouldn't even let us go look at. Yeah. And if you strayed away from the group, they kind of like yelled at you like you were a child, So that was frustrating on my part, because I am a traveler, and I'm not a nervous traveler. And I found we were traveling with some nervous travelers, which kind of created a little bit of fear mongering amongst the other nervous travelers. And at that point, you couldn't enjoy yourself because everything you do, they're like, oh, don't do that. Oh, don't do that. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, don't leave your drink unattended. It's going to get roofied and all this other stuff. And I'm like, listen, I'm 45 years old. Nobody's roofing me. Okay. So, and
what did you see that, what was your favorite thing that you saw in Spain? Because I know the one thing that you learned while you were there is that you would never do a group trip, like a group trip with people you didn't know anymore.
Oh, and never again. Never
Right.
again.
And we also learned that we won't ever pack your prescriptions in your check baggage.
Yes. I went,
about.
I went through the whole trip without my medication, which, you know, not to go into too much detail, but this is medication I have been on for years and I have to take it every day. Luckily enough, Amy is on similar medication, so that kind of got me through it. I had a couple hits or miss with the little bits of not being on it, but
There's Digger tonight.
I think my favorite. Well, see, I like the Museum de Prado.
Yep.
Which was the museum that was in Madrid. And I just absolutely love that. But again, when you go to a museum like that, it's like a once in a lifetime thing. And they only gave us an hour and 45 minutes. Like when I went to the Louvre, we were there for 5 hours and we still didn't get to see everything because I like to stand there and I like to appreciate the works and I like to look at them and the details. And Amy and I were together with Grace and we didn't even get through. I don't even think we made it halfway. And I was so choked about it because there was so much more I wanted to see of the artwork and everything. And I couldn't, and they were like rushing us out the door to go to, basically rushing us out the door to go look at something that wasn't important to me. You know, like I don't care about how I would have rather spent my 3 hours of free time in the museum than I would going back to the exact same spot that we had already been to twice for 3 hours of free time to go shopping around in stores that were just basically tourist shops.
So I had this, I don't know, insider prediction or something, but I've got my suspicions that the tour company gets a kickback from taking the tourists to a certain shopping area.
I agree.
So, yeah, but then you got home and you've been home for a little while. And a couple days ago, I had to take you down to get your hand butchered. What happened there? If you want to hold it up, you can show. Oh, there you go.
My carpal tunnel surgery. I had surgery done 10 years ago and the scar tissue built up and it was compressing 2 of my nerves in my hand. So I had to have a plastic surgeon do it.
And he did
a good job. I'm pretty swollen still. And
I think that the time I
bruised up and banged up.
I think every time I tell the story, it gets shorter, but I don't know if you were in there 15 minutes.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but it was crazy. They was like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And you came back out, but it was, yeah. And I mean, 2 days with bandages and now you just got to let the stitches dissolve. Hey, Here we go. Ian's got a good one. He says, what? Oh, actually, before that, Pippin said, here we go. Heck, my aunt lives in Spain and teaches English to Spanish. Could have hooked you up. That would have been cool, but
I wouldn't have been allowed to.
Oh, true. Yeah. All right. So what is your best travel tip, Mrs. Cook?
Honestly, best travel tip is, and I'm looking at it from my perspective. Whenever, you never, ever keep your head down. That is, and I'm not saying it to fearmonger.
No.
At all. But you always have to, you don't make small talk with people that look shady. You don't go down areas that are because not everybody has the awareness, because I really don't have a lot of situational awareness. I really don't. But when I'm traveling, it's heightened. But if you're walking someplace and something kind of you're looking and you're like, oh, I'm going to go there. But then you get that weird feeling, just don't go there. Right. And of course, especially when you're in a country where you don't speak the language and you never, ever travel with wads of cash. Never. You travel. When I travel, I always have a crossbody bag, and then I take a little wallet, and I only put 2 credit cards in there, and I count out enough cash that I think I need for the day. And that's all I travel with, because that way, if someone happened to steal my purse, I still have credit cards and cash back in my hotel room.
Do you know how proud I am of you, though? Because, like, you did grow up in kind of a city, you know, but as we got together, I'm going to guess you probably relied on me a little bit more when we go to cities and things.
Yeah.
And when we first started traveling, you were as situationally unaware as.
Oh, I still am.
But you've gotten so much better. And especially when I'm not around, folks, you do really good because you become the leader of the. Yeah.
I'm really brazen too. Like I don't know, maybe I'm too brazen. Maybe I shouldn't be. But when I have when I have Amy and Grace with me, like there's 3 of us, right? The chances of somebody coming up and bugging 3 of you are a lot less than if you're by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we would walk and go places and none of it ever bothered me, but like they're actually very friendly in Spain. And it's just like any other city you go to, you're gonna have the good with the bad, and you just have to be polite with people and just don't cause any problems.
Have confidence, but don't go in stupid places. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. I like that because you do. I see it now. You walk with confidence when we're in the cities, and because you have to, because if you walk like a victim, people are going to treat you like a victim. Aren't they?
And you never ever put your head down.
No, good call.
And do not make eye contact with. And I have the worst problem with that is making eye contact with people, because there was a couple old ladies, and it's so funny. They're gypsies because Spain has quite a few gypsies in it. And they sell bundles of rosemary. And if you take a rosemary, they're supposed to give you, they're supposed to tell your fortune.
Okay.
Right. Which is fair, but I don't speak Spanish. So they're going to be basically telling me my fortune in Spanish, and I wouldn't have a sweet clue what they were saying. So we were in the group, and the one girl, of course, made eye contact, and she, no. And the lady started hitting her with the rosemary. Right. But I don't think she was actually being sinister. I think she was just playing because honestly, I think she had to be about 85.
Oh, wow.
Just one of those old ladies, but this one here took it to heart and started spreading around the group that she was doing that because there was people hiding in the bushes that were going to come out and steal her wallet. So there was nobody in the bushes.
Be aware, but don't be paranoid, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
But and don't fearmonger with everybody because this is the same one that was saying that somebody was roofing her drink and that someone was taking their cell phone and scanning their bag. And I'm like, nobody's scanning your bag, lady. Like, no. Like, it was just ridiculous.
But next trip, it'll be us going somewhere, won't it? At some point.
Yeah.
So,
well, we have a trip planned with the girls.
Yes.
Too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, our next trip is going to be for the SOE Christmas party.
Yeah.
Hey, hon, can you see that bottle of bourbon right there? The one that says Owl on it. I just want to show everybody the new bourbon that you got me the other night to drink, and then we'll get into our list. So I forgot to mention before we started, of course, anybody who cares, drinking an old fashioned, but I picked up this new bottle the other day, Kentucky Owl bourbon whiskey. It's 96.4 proof.
From Costco.
From Costco. It was in their glass cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
It says established in 1916. It is a very, very sweet bourbon. So if anybody's looking for a new bourbon, tried this, and so far, I like it. Nice packaging, nice label and everything, but more than that, it has a beautiful sweet smell and an even sweeter taste. So Mrs. Cook, of course, Byron's tried every bourbon in existence.
Yeah. Well, doesn't he live down there?
He does. Yeah, he lives in bourbon country. Very, right in bourbon land.
So he has access to it before you do.
He belongs to a bourbon. I was going to say a bourbon club, but it's actually a bourbon snob. Oh yeah, he's part of the Frankfurt Bourbon Society.
Oh,
that's for the upper class.
Do they have special tattoos and stuff?
I don't know. He hasn't. I haven't been able to go to a meeting yet. So. Ian Sisk says, Pippin, never know what the laws are in different places. Much better to escape than engage in strange places and end up in jail. I travel with a 3,000 lumen flashlight that strobes to help evade. That helps because I looked on knives and guns in Spain. Yeah, they're very strict there.
Well, and that's another thing too. Like I never ever, we never go out after dark.
Yes.
Unless you're in an area that you're familiar with and or in a touristy area where there's a lot of other people that speak your language. And of course, and always know where the embassies are and always, And like that's
because I did send you them. I was a couple days late, but I did.
Yeah.
That's one thing I try to do when you go overseas is I send you pictures, screenshots of all the embassy locations.
And
right?
a lot of people say don't travel with your passport and stuff, but I always keep my passport in my purse.
I feel I feel safer having it on me than leaving it behind in a hotel.
Well, that's the thing. Like when we checked into the one hotel, because we were in that big group, we had to leave our passports with the front desk for them to assign it to our rooms.
Ooh.
And then we went down and picked them up later. And we went down to go pick them up later. They had lost the one girl's passport.
Go on.
Yeah, they found it. They gave it to somebody different. They gave it to somebody who they shouldn't. Like they gave it to another girl, but still.
That's like shit right out of Hostel. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just hold on to your passports, everybody.
Yeah, it was only for like a couple hours, but a lot can happen in a couple hours.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I told Lisa, who was running it for us, I said, I don't want to leave my passport. I said no, I don't know these people. I don't speak the language. Right. And she goes, oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. And I'm like,
no, I'm good.
So I went to the room and then I went back about 10, 15 minutes later and I just hung around until we got it because like, again, they lost her passport. Like they misplaced it.
Mm-hmm.
But like that, and that's the same one that was already fear mongering. I was like, yeah, of course it had to happen to her, right? Because now somebody's going to try to, steal her identity or whatever. I don't know.
They're going to sell me on the black market for kidneys. I'm going to wake up in a bathtub full of ice with stitches up my side.
And I didn't want to be rude, but she was older than me. I'm like, nobody's roofing you, okay?
They're always the ones that are worried, right?
I know. I'm just like, whatever.
Rachel wants to know, hey, Tim, did you try the old-fashioned replacing the bitters with the stuff from Worm yet? No, I haven't. I actually had meant to order a little shaker top for my bottle. Okay. Because that stuff, I noticed, I didn't tell you, but the other night, the stuff that Worm makes, is very similar in flavor to the bitters. Okay. It has kind of a clovey flavor. So I'm going to try that, replace it with my bitters in an old-fashioned, see how that is.
For Christmas?
Yeah, I might. Or I'll just, one night to test it, but I'm always
I am trying to get you that bourbon advent.
Oh, yeah, you did see that, yeah.
Well, I've only seen it on TikTok. I actually haven't seen it in the store yet.
Well, we'll see. Is it a Costco one, though? Yeah. And Ian says, heck yeah, see you in December. We'll see Ian. He's coming up for the party. And David says, speaking of bourbon, I've been on a Jefferson Reserve kick lately. I don't have a bottle of that. I'll have to keep an eye out for it. No, I definitely don't have a Jefferson Reserve, but I will have to. I'm always looking for new ones. So, spooky season, Mrs. Cook. Mm-hmm. It has come and gone so fast. And part of that is that we started in October in Tennessee, and then you went to Spain.
Well, I know, but I seriously was just sitting up there earlier, and I'm like, holy crap, tomorrow's Halloween.
Oh, it is tomorrow, too. I was thinking it was 2 days away, but you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea, and I didn't even think any more about it until Alice said she had to wear a costume tomorrow.
Oh, right, which did show up, thank goodness. At least one of them did anyway. But yeah, so last year we did 3 Halloween-themed episodes, and this year we managed to get 3 Halloween-themed episodes in, which is crazy.
You did.
I did. Well, sure, but you didn't. You weren't in on all of them last year either. But so I had Worm on Sunday night, talking about horror movies. Tonight we're going to talk about the Master of Horror.
Because last year we had Tracy and Rob.
We did, yes.
Yeah.
And then I did one with Worm last year, and then I did my Toolman Tim's Workshop of Horrors, which is tomorrow night, folks. That's the.
Oh, you are doing one tomorrow?
I am doing one. Yeah, that's the Art Bell homage episode, so that'd be good. All right, so there's no real rules to tonight's show, which I know. Also, in case you're wondering, the door is going to be open tonight because dogs. Whenever Miss Cook is in here, the dogs all of a sudden discover that I'm in the office with the door shut and they freak out.
Well,
so
we have Angus and Bee in here.
Yeah, so you'll hear them coming and going, but whatever. There's only 3 dogs that actually use the stairs.
Yeah, but it's only because I'm down here.
Yeah. So all I said was your top 10 Stephen King movies. Mm-hmm. Now, at least one of mine is going to be a mini series. So,
okay,
yeah, I'm sure you know where that's going to be. But so there's really no rules.
You didn't tell me that rule.
Well, it was a made-for-TV long movie, right? So, yeah. So, do you want to go first?
It don't matter.
Yeah, well, you go first, Miss Cook, or do you want me to go first?
No, I can go first.
All right. So we're just going to work our way backwards from 10 to 1. Anybody out there, as we go along, if you're a Stephen King fanatic like we are, feel free to tell us why our choices suck or what your choices are.
Okay. So, before the problem I ran into with the Stephen King movies is
there's a lot of shit.
Well, the problem is like most of his movies took place in late 80s, early 90s, right? So the graphics suck, the acting sucks. And so like it's kind of hard, like to say, oh man, that was like the best movie ever, right? So, but so I went off of ones that I remembered and that I did like when I was a kid.
That's fine.
But when I go back and I watch them, I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I even watch this?
Well, a lot of his stuff, and before we go too far into it, there's a lot of shitty Stephen King.
Oh,
yeah.
Geez, yes,
there is a podcast I've been listening to. If anybody's looking for a good movie podcast, I'll tell you the name right here. And they have been doing, the podcast has been on the air for like 10 or 15 years. And they've been doing a Stephen King series. They've done 80 episodes on Stephen King adaptations, and they're not done yet. And it is called, right here, we got Now Playing the Movie Podcast. That's it. And it's really good. I enjoy it. But man, they've gone through a lot. So
okay, so I'm just gonna delete a couple.
Sure. Hi, Martinson family. Good to see you in here this evening.
Okay, so I didn't go with any. Well, there was a couple of his new things.
Yeah, there's a couple. I got a couple of new-ish ones on there.
Okay, so one that I did watch when I was a kid was Cat's Eye.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
And
maybe we've watched it since. What's the premise behind it?
It's got Drew Barrymore in it.
Okay.
And from what I can remember, I think it's a whole bunch of little stories in one movie.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, because it has been like, it came out in 1985. So the one part that stuck with me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's when the black cat is in the house with the old lady.
Okay.
And it's something to do with an inheritance. Yeah. And what stuck with me is when the cat crawls into the lady and then it's coming back out and it's ripping her mouth. And that part always stuck with me. And then it has like the little tiny, was that a goblin or a troll or something in it?
I don't know. I'm gonna bring it up on IMDb here, guys. We'll see.
It is so bad. It is like the worst movie ever. But it was one of those ones that I watched where I'm like, I think I was probably like 8 or 9. So Brian would have been about 4. And I was like, hey, Brian, let's watch this movie, right? Because Amy would have been about 3.
Oh, you were so mean to Amy, weren't you?
Oh, and Brian, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember making them watch this one. And look at how cheesy that poster is. I mean, and aren't they going for like the Firestarter look there? Because wasn't she in Firestarter? About the same age.
Yeah, because she was in that, right? And
Firestarter would have been around the same year.
Yes.
84.
84. Yeah. So see, look, the very next year, they almost have the same look for the poster. Rear lit behind through Drew Barrymore's hair. And this, I have not watched this, but I have watched reviews of this on YouTube, and it is hilariously bad.
But what stuck with me was when, stealing the little girl's breath. That's what the gremlin did. It would go on top of her when she was sleeping, and it would steal her breath.
Oh my God! Okay.
Yeah, but what stuck with me is when her mouth rips open and the cat comes out.
That was
so
crazy.
Because I remember when they were kids, I was like, "Hey, Brian, watch this," and then like this cat's like crawling out of this lady's mouth. Yeah.
I mean, the poster looks like something I could have done on Paint Shop Pro in 1997. You know what I mean? Oh, that's crazy. So that'll be you going backwards 10 through 1, kind of. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's take a look. Who do we get in here? This is somebody I don't recognize. Hello, Nally Mohamed. Maybe. Yeah. If you're friendly and not a spammer, say hello. If you're not, say goodbye. All right. Here we are. So my number 10 is
Thinner. Oh Lord. See, that one's just as bad.
Oh, here's the beauty of Stephen King movies is it's okay for them to be absolutely purely just cheese, right? Absolute cheesy. So let's bring this back up. Here we go. So I'm pretty sure that this is the first book of Stephen King's that I ever read. And it was good. I enjoyed it. It was originally, for those who don't know, a Richard Bachman book. And if you don't know that story, back in the day when Stephen King was writing like crazy, his publisher said, you're only allowed to release one book a year. And he said, well, screw you. I'll just put some out under Richard Bachman, his pseudonym. So he ended up getting like 5 books out before they caught him. And this was maybe the last one. And Rachel says, hated the book and never saw the movie. That's fair. I love the movie. It's so cheesy. Of course, it deals with gypsies and the mafia and a ball bearing through the hand and a gypsy curse. And it's so over the top. I can still watch it. The ending with the pie, which, I don't want to spoil a cheesy 1998 movie, is it? Or 96? But it's a hard R. The effects are okay. But I mean, how can you not love that? And poster?
I'm not a huge fan of like remaking movies.
Right.
But I really do wish they would remake some of these with like, better acting.
So Mike Flanagan, we're going to talk more about him later on.
Yeah.
He did Midnight Mass and he did, Gerald's Game, and he did Hush, and he's doing the Dark Tower series for Amazon right now. He is the new Frank Darabont, because Frank used to do a bunch of Stephen King movies as well, and now he's doing the best stuff. So I would love to see him tackle this.
Yeah, I'd love him to see him redo a bunch of them.
There's so many that if they but there's so many that if they were done with hard R, and instead of being cheesy, they were done earnestly and scary, how much fun would that be?
Yeah, I think it would be really good. They would turn out pretty good.
This, if I remember, this came out just before the Green Mile. If you remember the Green Mile come out in those 6 little mini books? I don't know if you do. Yeah. So I bought this and then I collected the Green Mile books. But I love it. This is one of those movies, if it's playing, we watch it. Remember how that always went? Yeah.
Well, it's got what's his face in it too?
Joe. Where is he? Everybody will recognize him. He plays Joe Montana.
Yeah.
He plays a mafia dude in Absolute.
Fat Tony.
Yeah. Fat Tony. Yeah. There he is. Everybody recognizes his face or his voice or both.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 10 all time Stephen King. What do you got for number 9 there, Mrs. Cook?
All right. Another cheesy one.
I promise you don't have to apologize for picking them.
Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, hey, hang on. Hang on. We got, I can high five you. We both have Maximum Overdrive as number 9.
Yeah.
And I just picked it up on Blu-ray yesterday or the other day too. So I love it. Haas, look at this. Haas Valhalla Rottweilers. What a great name. I'm not sure how you bring all 3 of those together. What a great name. That sounds very scary, like Viking Rottweilers, hey?
Yeah.
The Green Mile chapbooks. I would run to the drugstore once. Yes, me too. I'm going to call you Valhalla or Haas. No, anyway, but
Valhalla.
So did we. I think I went to Shoppers Drug Mart in my hometown to get the Green Mile books. That's crazy. That's the only place in town that sold them at the time. And they had a little spinny rack for paperbacks. Oh yeah. So yes, let's bring up.
So he must be Viking.
I think so.
Yeah.
I hope so. All right. So Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
Anybody out there not seen Maximum Overdrive? Because my God, is it ever a classic?
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's so bad, but it's so bad, but it's good at the same time.
Emilio Estevez and Trucks. Mm-hmm. Also, quite possibly one of the best sound
pop cans are the greatest.
And it makes no sense. So Stephen King is really good at so everybody's like, why did the machines go crazy? Because a comet passed through Earth's orbit.
Yep.
Imagine that. Simple as that.
So totally off topic. I was watching you figured out that AMC channel for me on Prime Channel.
Yeah.
And I was on that Zoom meeting and the Michael Myers one with Danielle Harris was playing. And it shows her going into the police station where Michael Myers had basically dispatched all the cops and everything, right? And they had fires burning on the jail cell bars, like just these little fire. I'm like, why the hell would there be fire?
Why? What was
like all the cops were like shooting guns and Michael kills with a knife or his hands. And they had little fires on all the. I'm just like,
that's crazy.
I'm sitting up there and I'm like, why the hell is there fires? It's not like there was like, I don't know, like somebody had like a blowtorch or something going. I don't understand why. And why were they still burning?
Right.
I was like, that was
Makes no sense
It made
at
no
all.
sense to me. I know it's totally off topic, but
Whatever.
That was like the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
It's our show. We get to wander and meander all about the story. So
yeah, but I couldn't figure it out.
I am a sucker for electronics and appliances and things coming to life, like the Cell movie. Remember, not Stephen King's Cell, but was it called Cell?
No,
it wasn't.
You're thinking of.
It has Kristen Bell in it.
Pulse.
I love that movie.
And Maximum Overdrive too. When the shit hits the fan there, and then it shows them, and it has like the girl hanging out the window with her blow dryer that strangled her.
Oh my god! Yes.
And then the pop machine starts like killing people. It's like, come on.
It's such a good one. David says, I unplugged appliances not in use for a couple weeks after seeing Maximum Overdrive. So a couple of things. You guys might know this, but Stephen King directed this movie. It was his first and only theatrical directorial movie because he did so bad nobody would let him direct a movie afterwards. I believe he directed a made-for-TV movie after this, but this was the only actual theatrical release. And
a lot of his movies, he's got little
cameos and things, which is cool. But he also approached AC/DC to do the soundtrack for this. And they basically they did the whole movie.
Yep.
So there's a Maximum Overdrive soundtrack. And if I remember correctly, it's basically the same album as another one, but retitled with a couple different tracks added. But it has everything you should love. Cars That Come to Life, an AC/DC soundtrack written by the master of horror. And for some reason, I just friggin' love it. So
yeah.
What do we got here? Haas says King patterned chapter books off a tactic that worked well for Charles Dickens. You know, that's one thing that King is good at is, I don't know if you want to call it like trying things, but, you know, getting people into things, you know, because he was the very first guy to sell a book electronically. And I can't remember which one it was, but it was very early. It was in the 90s where he sold an electronic download of an ebook. And he did okay with it. So he's done well for, you know, as far as that goes. Pippin says, I know what I'm listening to tomorrow. Yeah, you'll enjoy it. And Runaway with Gene Simmons. The Pop Machine would love to program one to do that. Imagine.
Oh, I would too. Would just put it in some area, like, you know, like in a building of, you know, maybe government workers that just piss you off.
Who made who? Yes, I think that was the album that they basically repackaged. But it was, I love it. Yeah, the lawnmower.
You know, the big cement roller that goes into the baseball field.
Yes.
You're just like, man, he's killing kids.
It's so good. There's just it's one of those that I could watch over and over and over again. And the one I picked up the other day, it's got like 3 director's commentaries and things on it, so there'll be lots to read.
Well, and that and that truck with is it like a Joker?
Yeah, somebody found that not too long ago.
I can't remember what or is it a goblin?
I think it's a goblin. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Valhalla says makes me think of Killdozer. And of course, my Killdozer shirt is dirty because I wore it to the city the other day. Otherwise, I'd be wearing it. But tonight I'm wearing less 1984, more 1776.
I'm just wearing your SOE.
You're representing. The SOE. I love it.
I think it says made in the motherfucking USA.
It sure does. I love that. We've yet to have somebody comment on that when we're out in public, which is funny.
I don't. Well, I can't really wear this out in public because I can't. Not like I can wear this.
When we go to the city, I usually wear my SOE shirt.
Yeah, but I can't wear this to the daycare.
No, that's true.
And I get, Miss Becky, what's that say? Well, let me tell you.
So I always forget that ATMs were around that.
There's Stephen King right there.
Yes, it is. Yeah. 1986, this movie was made, which means it was probably filmed in 85. And there's an ATM.
Well, in the States, yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, so you and I both had number 9 as Maximum Overdrive, Mrs. Cook. So why don't you go on to your number 8? Do an ordinary
mention then.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's fine. Whatever.
Okay. Okay, so next one would be probably Creep Show 2.
Creep Show 2. Now that.
And that is one the first time I watched that one was when I was babysitting for my Uncle Ken and Aunt Sue. I was babysitting Natasha and Nathan, and they had gone to bed, and he had one of those massive satellite dishes.
Oh, the ones that had to go.
Yeah, so he could get, like, and of course, we never had that. So, like, what he showed me, the remote was like 10 feet
Are you
long.
serious?
I don't know. It was like this massive remote. And like, I think he had like 3,000 channels or something. I was like, but I remember watching it, and because it's like it's the short stories, and it's got like I think the one had
right. It's like it's
got the short stories. I think the first one is like where they're the gargoyles.
Okay.
I think, and something to do where he's not supposed to tell anybody, or the and then the no, that might have been the first creep show. The creep show, no, the first one is the here
we go.
Yeah, the
old Chief Woodenhead.
Yeah, where he's the wooden statue.
Yep.
And they come in and they rob the store of the old couple, and then he comes to life and ends up killing all the
right. It's like an old tobacco Indian, right? Like the statues are native or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
And then the raft is where it's like that goop, that oil.
Oh, we watched that one Sunday afternoon.
Yeah,
right, because it would stick to their skin or whatever,
and it
right?
would peel their skin off.
Oh, that was actually pretty good.
And then at the end, the guy wins, and he beats it, and then it comes up in the big wave, and it pulls him out into it.
A la like all the Jason movies and things, you know. It's like, oh, we made it. And then the Hitchhiker.
Yeah, the Hitchhiker is.
I remember this.
Yeah.
Annie Lansing, an adulterous Maine businesswoman, wakes up, gets out of bed after sleeping with her gigolo lover.
Yeah.
She only has 15 minutes before her attorney husband arrives home, so shops in her car.
And she hits him.
Right. Her husband?
No, she hits the hitchhiker, remember?
That's
she drags him.
Oh,
yeah.
That's actually really good, that movie. I forgot about that.
They're cheesy and the acting is horrible, but you know what? The first creep show, I think, is the one with the gargoyles. Maybe.
Let's see here if we can find
it.
Father's Day. Sylvia Graham meets her nephew, Richard, and niece Cass, along with Cass's new husband. The family's annual dinner on the third Sunday in June. Rendered unstable spinster. Then there's the lonesome death of Geordie Verrill.
No.
Comedic and then there's Something to Tide You Over. Richard Vickers is a vicious and heartless millionaire. Oh my God, these are awful long. And The Crate.
I can't.
They're creeping up on you. Could that be it?
I can't remember which one it is. The one with the gargoyles.
We're not mistaking that to the Twilight Zone movie, are we?
No, it's not. No.
All right. So what is it? Gargoyles. We'll look it up here. Gargoyles. Stephen.
It might not be Stephen King. I might have them confused.
So are we? I was thinking about. We're not thinking about Terror at 30,000 feet, are we?
No. This was a short story.
Okay.
And it had I think she was mulatto. She kind of looks a little bit like Tandy Newton.
Okay.
And she's a gargoyle, and she did something for the guy, but he was never to speak about it.
Okay.
And then they end up having a really good life together, and they end up having 2 kids. And then he eventually tells somebody the story, and then she takes the kids and herself and turns back into gargoyles, and they leave.
Oh, okay.
And I could have sworn it was a creep show, but I probably got it confused with something else.
It's okay. Tommy Knockers? That sounds familiar too, but
it's not a whole movie though. It's just a little short story.
Is it a short? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come up.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
All right. So
but Creep Show 2 is my favorite one, with the oil slick and the Indian statue and stuff. So
my number 7, doing this backwards gets me confused.
I thought you're number 8.
No, we already did. We did Maximum Overdrive together. You and I both.
That was number 9.
9. Oh, sorry, number 8. Yeah, see, that's why it gets confusing going backwards. Gerald's Game. If you guys haven't seen Gerald's Game, I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, and there's not an older version of it, is there?
I think this was the first time it was told in a movie format. The book was great, but the movie was even better. And it's, again, Mike Flanagan, the big, but I'll bring it up for you guys. It's again, I talk about it all the time, but I'm always a huge fan of claustrophobic. I love it. Claustrophobic movies. And this is, here we go. Let me bring it up. If you guys haven't seen it, it is an incredibly...
It's on Netflix.
Yeah. And it's really good. So here's the story. They're in bed and they're trying to like rekindle their marriage or whatever. He ties her up, because they're into that sort of thing. And then he drops dead of a heart attack right on top of her. And the rest of the time is her discovering how or trying to get out, and you trying to figure out whether what you're seeing is an unreliable narrator, it's real, or she's just losing her ever-loving mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it all takes place in a cabin. She, what's her name? Carla Guinino or whatever, who's in a lot of his stuff. She puts on an acting showcase. She does a great job. Oh, there it is.
Maybe it might be Tales from the Dark Side.
I bet it is. That sounds very familiar. I'll bring it up here in a second. And Rachel says, I remember Tommyknockers being a regular story. It was a horribly long book that he wrote in the heyday of his cocaine binging and turned it into an even shittier movie.
No, I don't think I ever saw Tommyknockers.
I don't know if I've ever seen the whole thing, but I've seen the early CGI. I think it was a made-for-TV movie, and it was nauseating. It was so bad.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
And Haas says, love the horror story miniseries also. Not sure what category those are in. We could do one of those some year too. Story miniseries of horror. There's so many of like he did. My favorite is Midnight Mass, but then he did House on Haunting of Hill House.
So that was a good one.
That's just as good, but I liked Midnight Mass because it had so much religious overtones. Like it reminded me, and it was the small, wharf and like not wharf, an island community.
The Fall of Usher was good too.
I forgot about the Fall of House. That was
House of Usher,
almost as good. Yeah,
it was based on Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It had the Raven under.
Yeah, the only one of his series that was a bit of a dud was the second one he did, the one that took place in England. And it was so
I know
slow.
which one you're talking about.
And again, it was based on a classic.
Bly House.
The host,
something like that. Yeah, no, it wasn't very good.
Yeah. So, we're going to look that up here in a minute. And Rachel says, "Don't see Tommyknockers." Seriously, you don't.
No, I actually have had no interest in never watching it.
It was so bad. Yeah,
there is like probably at least a dozen or more movies of Stephen King's that I have not seen.
Oh, and it's not
just because I didn't want to waste my time.
Like if you want to see, so if anybody's interested, this Mike Flanagan, he is just through and through a Stephen King fanatic. Yeah. And he has done, oh man, I love Dr. Sleep. I know you didn't.
I didn't care. I didn't mind it. Honestly, I think my favorite one of his is Hush.
Hush is so good. And that was before, that's not a Stephen King adaptation.
No,
but before we knew who he was, remember?
That's a creepy movie.
So he has this new one coming up. This is based on a Stephen King short. They just sold it at some big film festival, and it's called The Life of Chuck. And it's a post-apocalyptic kind of, the world's ending, but it's really off-putting.
Is that
I don't think
Hiddleston?
I don't
Tom Hiddleston?
think so. It looks like him from there, but I don't think it actually is. So anyway, it's going to be a little while till it actually gets.
Got Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, Jacob Tremblay.
And of course, Kate
Choodle.
That's his wife, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And Rachel says Hush was damn good. Yeah,
it was. It creeped me out. I liked Hush.
But let's just real quick, since we're here, I want to look at what he has. Look at this. Where's upcoming? He's only got one listed right now. The Exorcist Mike Flanagan project. He's got all kinds in the works, but that might be director. He might be producing some stuff too. But anyway, yeah, all kinds of cool stuff. He loves doing Stephen King things. All right, so Gerald's Game. Loved it. If you haven't seen it, guys, do yourself a favor. It's part of the new Stephen King renaissance of good films. Yes. Even though there's some real shitty ones that have come out, like the new Firestarter was so bad. Oh my God. It was. All right, what do you got for number 7, babe? Is that what you're at?
I don't know. Number 7. Number 7 was kind of like a toss-up. Let's see. Because they're kind of like all shitty together.
That's okay. That's part of the fun. What do you got?
I'm probably going to have to go with The Shining.
Oh, that's not shitty. The Shining's incredible.
It is, but it isn't.
Okay.
Like, I think with me with The Shining is that it was incredible the first 150 times I've seen it.
That's fair.
But it's so overplayed.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's also,
do I quote it on a daily? Probably. But
and it's also been spoofed in 1,000 other pieces of media. But I do love it. It's really funny because this is like, if you guys ever like Stephen King when he's on Twitter, it's like take the old man away from Twitter. But the one thing he always does is brag on people who are adapting his movies. He loved that really shitty Dark Tower movie they did a few years ago. He's like, oh, everybody's got to see it. It's awesome.
He hated this one.
He hates The Shining.
Which I don't know why, because it was really good. It was really well acted. Like who doesn't love Jack Nicholson?
Oh,
like, come on. Like, he's one of my favorite, but I think he hated it because it was so good.
I think so. And
yeah,
I think him and Stanley Kubrick had an falling out of some sort. I mean, and Stanley Kubrick's one of the best filmmakers of all time. So how do you say that this was a shitty? I don't know how you watch this movie objectively, which would be impossible for him to be objective, and say this was a bad movie.
Well, he wasn't in it either.
Right. Well, that's true. But he hated it so much that he had them do a made-for-TV miniseries,
which was awful,
which was horrible.
But he had his hands in that.
Sure, he did. Yeah.
See, that's probably what I think it came down to, is that I think Stanley Kubrick was like, "Hey, you know what? Your movies friggin' suck when you're involved with them. There's the door, or sit there and shut your mouth."
Right.
And obviously, Stephen King is a very bold personality.
Sure, absolutely.
So he was probably like, "Yeah, well, screw you. I'm going to tell everyone your movie sucks." Right. And I think that's basically probably what it came down to.
It's the one opinion of his. Well, lots of opinions, to be honest, but I don't get it. I don't get it. I think
that's probably what it was. He basically was told to sit down and shut up and not have anything to do with it. And he just couldn't handle that.
Can you imagine being that stubborn that you hold on to that opinion for so long?
Well, how long did your nan hold on to?
Oh, well, that's true. That lady said, if I had a turkey neck like that, I'd wrap it up with a handkerchief too. Oh, yeah, that's my grandma.
Exactly. Well, with Stephen King, he's almost 80. Right?
He is. Yeah, he's getting up there.
So he's going to hold on to it. Yeah,
he sure is. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. But so The Shining, that was your number 7.
Yeah.
All right, and my number 7 is The Green Mile. And I love that. It could have,
Green Mile.
On some people's lists, it could have been higher, but for mine, there's just enough that I really enjoy more than that.
But I don't count The Green Mile as a horror movie. I think it's more of a thriller.
I mean, sure. Yeah. But I mean, definitely some of his other ones, like Shawshank Redemption's not a horror movie. But I guess I kind of said horror, but I just said Stephen King movies, right?
Yeah.
But there's enough in this that's, there's some scary shit in this movie too.
Yeah, but more suspenseful.
When the guy gets dry electrocuted, that's pretty crazy, but yes, it is definitely more suspense than that. But The Green Mile, Rachel, she says, I have The Green Mile and still never watched it. Wow, it is so good. I mean, Tom Hanks again, although what's going on with that poster? He looks horrible in that poster. But yeah.
I think it's to make it look more old,
I suppose. Yeah,
because it takes place in like the 20s or 30s.
Yeah, and the big dude who played John Coffey, he's passed away since.
It's Duncan.
Yeah, Michael Clark Duncan. That's right. Yeah, and Gentle Giant, he was great. But the movie, it was one of the best, and that's a hard book to adapt because it
was a good movie.
Yeah, because the movie's almost 3 hours. Oh, it's 3 hours and 9 minutes, guys.
Yeah.
But so be prepared, to have popcorn and drinks and ready to go to the bathroom. But it's, we got to get that one on Blu-ray at some point and watch it with the girls.
No, it is a good movie. It's well acted. It has a heavy hitting crew and stuff, right? So, but
what's his face that plays the guy that shoots the chocolate out of his mouth? Where is he? Right here. He's such a good actor too, and I can't. Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
I think he's finally getting the recognition he deserved, but he is so good in that. He plays, I can't remember the name of the guy, but the serial killer, that he's the one that gets fried or whatever eventually, right? Yeah. But what a great dude to see act for sure. But yeah, since you haven't seen it, Rachel, that would be the one I'd say. Well, we'll go through the whole list and see if there's any that anybody else hasn't seen. But yeah, for me, that's gotta watch one. What do you got next there for me, beautiful? Carrie. Yep. That's a good movie. And I don't have it on my list at all. So you're talking about the remake from a few years ago, right?
No. One with Sissy Spacek, John Travolta.
John Travolta, really?
Yeah.
That I didn't remember or didn't know.
He plays the blonde's boyfriend.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Been a while
the ones
since
that
I've
die
seen
in the
this
car.
one. Yes. It's such a good movie, though.
It is a good movie.
And that's right. Because Sissy Spacek, I got it mixed up. I was thinking she's the mom, but doesn't she play the mom in the new one? or somebody like her. I can't remember, but yeah.
Her mom is played by.
No wire hangers. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I can't remember her name.
Piper Laurie. No.
You'll have to bring it up.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
But it's. I mean, again, Carrie is a perfect story. It's the one, if you've never heard, that Stephen King was kind of thinking about giving up on writing a bit, and he threw the manuscript in the garbage, and Tabitha, his wife, pulled it out of the garbage and sent it into another publisher, and that's what got him the book deal. So what a great wife, I tell you.
Yeah, no, but it's a good movie.
Amy Irving, nope. Piper Laurie, no.
Oh, it might have been Piper Laurie.
Okay, is that?
Oh yeah, that's her.
That's her. Okay. Yeah. So, she just passed away last year. She was 91. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's a great. I can't call it a coming of age movie, no. But it's I mean, it's so mean, and there's
well, it's like it's your typical bully movie.
It is,
they're mean and they're bullies, and the only one that doesn't get reprimanded for it is the one who doesn't end up going to the prom.
Right.
But they're, and the mother is, physical, emotional, and mentally abusive. And,
yes.
Yeah.
Everything about it. And doesn't even the female phys ed teacher die in the.
Yeah.
Yeah. She killed, and she was the one that was nice to her.
Yeah. And the boyfriend was too, or
right.
The one who went to prom with her. He was actually, there was nothing, it was a bet and everything, but he
really liked her.
He really
liked her. Cared for her anyway.
Yeah.
So,
and, but he ended up getting the bucket on his head. It's come on, man, walk it off.
Rachel Brown says, would you really watch any of these remakes? So,
no.
If they're done well, I suppose. I mean, we watched the Stand remake.
I didn't mind it.
It was okay, but I mean, it's so forgetful. I mean, I just love the first one. And
I think if they were remade by Mike Flanagan.
He would have done a fucking incredible job with it. Yes. But I don't know if there's any Stephen King remakes that I've seen in the last while that I enjoyed. They just did.
Well, the Pet Sematary was awful.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, it was watchable, but that's all it is. It's not rememberable.
No, it was awful.
And they just did a Salem's Lot that I haven't watched yet, and they said it was just dog shit.
Is that the one that's on Prime?
Yeah, they put it straight to VOD. It was
really good.
Well, there's always going to be a couple of people, but the reviews on it were really, really bad. And then I went to the theater that night. You guys went and watched Doctor Strange, and I watched Firestarter, and I was disappointed. It had potential.
Firestarter. I didn't even like the original.
Yeah,
so.
But I love the book. It's one of my favorite books. It's such a good book to read as a dad, because it's about a dad and a daughter on the run, and it was so good.
Yeah, but the original sucked.
Yeah,
too, so
it'd been so long since I'd seen it, but just trying to think of what could stand. Some of the really shitty ones could stand a remake. You know,
Thinner.
Thinner would do. That. Yeah, Thinner would do great.
I think they could really do a good Carrie. But they'd have to be very careful about who they put in for acting and who
it's a hard. Oh, because man, there's shit in that movie that would be hard to show today, And,
well, they probably cast somebody like Amanda Siegfried and stuff like that. I don't want
no, they wouldn't. You know who they would cast? The one that plays Wednesday.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. What is her name?
Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega, because she's been in everything lately. She's the new Scream Queen, right?
No, she's not. She sucks.
Yeah, I know. She can't really act that.
No, I can't stand her at all.
Mia. Look at that. Their favorite is The Mist. And I promise you that is very close to my top on the list as well. We will get there, I promise. And Haas says, I remember walking onto the porch as a teenager in Tennessee with the book The Stand and got lost. Wonderful fiction.
The Stand is incredible.
I am I am so stinking partial to The Stand. It's his best work. We're going to talk about.
Well, we have watched it how many times?
Oh my God!
I'll still watch it.
And we owned it on DVD. I don't think it's on Blu-ray, or maybe I did get it on Blu-ray. I can't remember, but yeah. Oh, and David said, I think 4 Seasons was the first book I read cover to cover, and that was that, or different seasons or 4. Anyway, that was a collection, a short story collection, I think, and yeah. So I've read all of his novels, and I've read about half of his short story collections, but I haven't touched The Dark Tower. I read the first book, and I'm like, oh, I don't like this.
Well, and I have a confession. I have not read one of Stephen King's.
But to be fair,
books.
you're not a big reader anyway.
No, actually, I love reading.
Yeah.
But his books are a very hard read for me.
Yeah, and that's fair.
And I have not read. I have attempted on numerous times to try to read It and Pet Sematary, and I just can't. They're too hard to read.
I don't think it's a very good book. I don't like it. It's way too long, and it's really not that good. But Pet Sematary is a great book, and it's not that long. And
I know. I can't read his books. I have not read one.
That's fair.
Yep.
All right. So whose go is it now? I said The Green Mile.
I said Carrie.
Carrie. Mine is, now this is a funny one, It Part 1. So there is one where the remake.
Or
no, I don't like the original at all. So the new one. And that is the one where I would say that the remake, at least the first one, was better than the original.
Well, Bill Skarsgård, he was made for that.
Oh,
part. I don't even care. He
good.
is so good. And like the original one with Tim Curry, right?
I just don't like that one.
I watched it when I was a kid, and it creeped me out, but not like it creeped me out to a point where I didn't like clowns, but he was like he wasn't scary though, right? You know what I mean? So that's Bill Skarsgård.
And
he's pretty scary.
Maybe if I had watched it on television when it came out, like I did with The Stand, I'd be more partial to it.
I did,
but I don't like it, and I watched it a few years later and didn't like it. But this one here, if you guys haven't seen it yet, this one, It with Bill Skarsgård, so stinking good. Oh, just the first one though. The second one was just
the second one was. I don't want to classify it as fully dog shit.
No, it was a good movie.
It was good, and they had to have it because they had to follow it up.
Sure, yeah.
But again, even in the second one, Bill Skarsgård was incredible.
Right.
Like,
but I mean, when you open a movie with a little kid getting his arm ripped off in a sewer grate and you show it, wow, you're going balls to the wall with that. So it was.
But like, how incredible is that, right? He's incredible.
So much better, I think. Anyway, like I was just but here's the other thing. We've never been big fans of kid actors. I hate to say it.
No, I'm not.
They were great in this. Every one of them was just perfect, right down to the little pudgy kid that loved New Kids on the Block. He was awesome. And A Good Marriage. On my favorites list. Greeting from Mexico. Mia or Maya. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Great to have you from Mexico.
Yeah,
so
we're going to Mexico in January.
Yes, we are. I'm excited. Oh, Stand By Me. That didn't make my list either.
It didn't make my list because I'm not a huge kid.
Yep. I love the movie.
I love the movie.
But oh, sorry, go.
Well, I was going to say, but if you, Haas, if you have seen any of our previous movie reviews, I have a disdain for child actors. I'm sorry. I will not look at any child actor and say, you know what? That kid is incredible. I need to go watch 100 movies with that kid.
But the ones in Stand By Me aren't that bad. I mean, they all went on to be grown-up actors.
Well, not really.
Well, okay.
River Phoenix didn't.
Yeah, well, that's true.
But too soon?
Dark. No, it's not too soon.
No, but I'm just...
Sorry. Jesus Christ. All right, keep going.
No,
time for some more bourbon. No, it's all right.
No, but I'm just saying, it's like, I just have a disdain for child actors, and I can't. I don't know.
I get it. I totally do, because
they're annoying.
It's not the kid's fault. It's just,
it really isn't.
But if you watch a movie with a shitty kid actor, it takes you out of the movie.
It does, and they always put them in these situations where, why are you so fucking stupid?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because like we have 5 kids.
Yep.
And I know for a fact none of my kids would be that freaking dumb. Like, seriously, like, come on. And
so what about Lost Boys? Somebody's asking, did you like Lost Boys?
No, I didn't.
No, Kiefer Sutherland, right? Or is it?
Yeah. No, I didn't like Lost Boys at all. I don't know what the big hype is about Lost Boys, and I know they're trying to bring it back around because they're trying this nostalgia. But you know what? When it came out, that was like one of the shittiest movies I had ever seen, and
I may have only seen it once. I'm not sure if I've ever seen it all the way through. But
I don't know. But
I'm surprised the kids haven't want to watch it yet. But.
Well, and that's what irritates. Okay, we're not going to go on a rant here.
No.
But what really irritates me, what really grinds my gears, is
Tell us, Peter.
these Gen Zers or whatever the hell they are, and they think that they're being like, if you watch the tickety talkies where they're like, oh, watch this, and they have like this nostalgic horror movie from that we watched when we were kids.
Yep.
And then they try to explain the premise behind it and why it's so scary. And like, you know what? Shut the fuck up. That movie sucked. You know, and don't try to tell me anything different. And Lost Boys is starting to circle around into that nostalgia where these Gen Zers think it's like the greatest movie ever. And it's like, no, it wasn't. And same with Beetlejuice. They tried to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I love Michael Keaton. I do. But the original Beetlejuice was not that good.
I enjoy it. You're the one who introduced me to it.
But it's not that good to be nostalgia. You know
No.
what I mean? Like it wasn't. But they're trying
to shove it down your throat. And imagine, folks, if Mrs. Cook drank, imagine what her opinions would be like. Holy
Everyone's
shit.
getting my opinion
I'm
tonight.
sitting here drinking bourbon and you're just going off.
No,
for me.
but
I know.
It is true though. Like and same with like, you see them on TikTok and they act like they're the first ones that discovered this nostalgic movie. You're just like, no, dude. I watched that when it came out on my VHS machine in my pajamas down in the living room when I was 8 years old, and that movie fucking sucked. You know what I mean? So don't tell me it's like the greatest movie in the world, because it really isn't.
Haas says nothing beats the Salem's Lot. I still lick my upstairs windows, and I do like Salem's Lot. The book's even better, of course.
Yeah.
But so it number one was mine. What's your next one on your list there, baby doll?
Next one
is okay. So Haas says the new Salem's Lot sucks, and I was pretty sure. I've heard. Oh my God.
I heard somebody say that it was really good, but you know what? I never even watched.
But it wasn't just
one.
the critics. Like I critics can, you know what I mean. But
I know.
But the audience score was really shitty on it too, and But it doesn't mean that I'm going to always believe that either, because the movie Trapped by M. Night Shyamalan, loved that movie.
Yeah, no,
and
actually, I was pretty impressed with that one.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, Haas says no, Beetlejuice, the new one sucks too. He says, and the best character in Lost Boys was salty old grandpa. I love salty old men in movies. They're so funny.
Yeah. So, we're gonna have to do it in Misery.
Oh yeah, that's a little higher on my list. Why do you love Misery?
Because I love Kathy Bates.
You know what? Misery loves company too.
Oh yeah, Kathy Bates is I don't know. Kathy Bates is one of those actresses that, like, she can't do no wrong in my eyes. Like I think she's great, and anything she ever and of course I quote Misery all the time. Like, he didn't get out of the cock-a-doodle car. Like, come on, right? Like, she's insane, and.
That could easily be my top movie too, but it's not.
Honestly, that's probably what I would have been if I hadn't met you. I'd probably be some crazy old bitch living in a farmhouse.
We could be crazy old bitches together living in the farmhouse.
She's absolutely batshit crazy, and I just love her.
She is she is what everybody else thinks of as the prototypical crazy fan now.
Well, that and she does it so well.
And the movie is paced so well. You're just always on edge. You don't know what's going to happen. And the crazy thing, if you guys have seen the movie where she hobbles him with a stick between the legs and hits him, it's worse in the movie or in the book. If I remember correctly, she cuts one of his legs off in the book. And
does she?
And then cauterizes it with a blowtorch or some sort of thing like that. So it's insane.
Well, and that there, it's like, and of course, and she's obviously schizophrenic or there's some because she's not. I don't think they're playing her as bipolar. I think she's actually schizophrenic. Like, there's something wrong with her.
Definitely.
Yeah, she's just, and the poor guy's just all hunky dory, and all of a sudden she just goes batshit crazy, and then she starts. Yeah, no, she's great.
I'm going to say this about the next 3 or 4, but if anybody out there's never seen Misery, wow, you got to watch it. It is so good. And then. Oh man, and the penguin thing, she's like, the penguin always points north,
due south, or due north, or whatever. But and she's and have you ever seen Kathy Bates in the new American Horror Stories?
Yes.
Too? She's incredible.
What I always think of with her was the movie with Jack Nicholson. I don't know if it was about Schmidt or which one it was. I don't think it was, but it was in the late 90s. It was up for an Oscar, and she steps out of the hot tub full frontal naked. And I just
is that the one where she only and then there's the one where she had the breast cancer and they call her the one tit wonder.
Oh, and she pulls her shirt up or something.
I can't remember which one that is, but no, I love Kathy Bates.
Oh yeah, she is just a perfect act. I was right about Schmidt. There it is, 2002. I was close, but yeah, she just hops up out of the old hot tub and she's awesome. Oh, she is. She just don't give a shit. But she's such a great actress.
No, she is, and she's getting up there too. Like,
oh man,
she's gonna be in what 70s?
I would think yes, I would. Yeah, here we go. Let's just take a quick.
Yeah, she is getting up there. I know.
Yeah.
1948.
Oh my God. So she'll be 80. She's 76.
Yeah,
so,
she's insane.
Yeah, she's a great actress. That picture doesn't really do her justice though, does it?
She's looking a little bit like Betty White.
Yeah, that's true. Well, she's not that far behind. So
no.
And Haas that's what I meant earlier. American Horror Stories, love them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Some are better than others.
Yes. Yeah. The camp one. Blue. I don't even care.
You know, the problem with American Horror Story is
it's woke.
Yeah, well you know what happens when you go woke, right?
Yeah, it's way too woke.
But it almost always starts out with a great concept, but it what's his face can't finish. I can't remember the dude who does all the movies and the shows, but he just can't come up with a satisfactory conclusion ever.
No, and you know, I'm not against wokeism or whatever, but there's a fine line between perfect balance and too much.
Oh, 100%.
And
yes.
it's some of them are way too much, and you're just like,
it's gotten so bad. Yeah, and there we go. Haas says like the house one, maybe the first. Yeah, that house was really good.
First one, second one, third one was the first three were pretty good. The one I just watched,
Ryan Murphy is the name of the guy, the creator.
Yeah, it has Emma Roberts as the main character in the something about conceiving.
Okay.
And stuff like that. It was
it on like Rosemary's Baby?
It was like loosely based on Rosemary's Baby. Actually, it wasn't too bad.
You know, another one that I liked, one of the seasons, was the one where they're in the underground bunker, because it was only half a season. Remember they did underground bunker for one and then aliens for the other? Yeah. And I like the underground bunker one pretty good.
I like, and I find any of the ones that Evan Peters isn't in, they suck. Yeah, because Evan Peters he's an incredible actor, and I like anything that he's in.
He played such a good Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, he did. Man, he's a good actor.
Yeah, some people said he was too hot to be Jeffrey Dahmer, but I don't. Whatever. I mean, he was. I just think he's such a great actor, and maybe he almost comes across as too friendly.
And you know he's like almost 40.
It's crazy, and he has a baby face.
He looks like when I didn't believe it, I had to Google him because I thought he was like 20.
Isn't that insane?
So it's like, yeah.
So I might as well say that Misery was number 3 on my list.
Okay.
So that way we don't have to go back to it when I get there. But yeah, I love it. I mean, it's we've talked, I don't know if we've talked about this term on here before, but we call it a remote drop movie. I never heard the term until recently, but we had a concept of it for years. Remember, we'd always say if we're flipping through TV, there's certain movies that you just have to watch. And most years are like 2012 and Day After Tomorrow and maybe not Independence Day. I don't know if that's on there too, but same. Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. And then I have a bunch too, of course, but we discovered later on that somebody calls it the remote drop movie, where you're flipping through, you see a movie, you're like, all right, we're watching it right through. And
even though I've seen it 900 times. Yeah.
Misery's one of those for me.
And The Shining's, that's why I've seen it so many times. Right?
And I bet your dad watched The Shining a lot too, did he? Or not? Was it
no,
not his
he
movie?
wasn't. He wasn't a horror movie.
Okay.
Like he didn't, he was more, you know which one he would watch all the time?
What's that?
Running Man.
Oh my God, that's so bad. So there's a movie that is getting remade soon, and it definitely needs a remake. And not because the old one was, the old one wasn't great.
But you can't remake it. It doesn't have Arnold in it.
But here's the problem. The Running Man movie has nothing to do with the book.
I know.
So it would be really cool if they did one that was somewhat faithful to the book. That's all I'll say about that.
No, but I growing up with my dad, I think I probably watched Running Man about 100,000 times. So, because it had Arnold in it.
Arnold. Arnold was my dude. That's the one that I
I think my dad had a
man crush on
Arnold. Yeah.
So I didn't mention it, but The Shining was number 5 for me as well. So we'll skip that one. So my number 4 is Pet Sematary. You haven't done Pet Sematary yet, have you?
No, but it's
coming
my
up.
number 1.
Is it your number? Okay, I figured. And the book,
the old Pet Sematary.
Oh, yes.
Not the new one.
Pet Sematary with an S. It's so good. There it is, guys. But the book alone, I remember I read the book when we were living down Digby Neck, and we had just had the girls.
Yeah.
And the book just wrecks you. And then you watch the movie, and the movie's every bit as effective as the book.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a parent, beware of the movie. It will hurt your soul.
Yeah, actually, I think what bothered me most about the movie, besides Gage, was the sister.
Oh my God, yes.
Rachel,
the mother's sister. She had
Zelda.
What did she have?
Cystic fibrosis or spinal
bifida. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
man.
When I first watched Pet Sematary when I was a kid, I had nightmares about that crazy bitch. I don't know for how long, like that whole like how she would say Rachel, like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, no, that, and then of course Gage getting hit and everything, that really bothered me. But no, and Pascal.
Oh, that's the old man across the street?
No,
or is that
Pascal's the one, the guy,
Oh.
the kid that gets hit that comes back and
Right.
haunts him, basically telling him to stop.
Oh, that when he's on the table and oh man.
Yeah.
It's just a movie that sticks with you.
Oh yeah. Oh, all the characters and Judd. That's the old man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the book is so much better, but it's the rare time where the movie's just as effective.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, oh my God, when you know how he has to climb through like the bramble of trees and stuff?
I never read the book.
But he still does it a little bit in the movie.
Well, he's got to go up the hill.
Yeah. So in the, in the book, it's just like, it's so intense. It's really hard to put what he tells in a book in a movie form, but man, this one knocks it out of the park.
And it was really good acting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like the acting was really good. Like some of it was kind of cheesy.
Sure.
And like that little Miko Hughes, like he's the cutest little thing. He reminds me of Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he
and
was.
See, look, you hate kid actors, but you did okay with that.
No,
one.
he's cute. He was 2, I think,
Yeah.
when he did that, like 2 or 3. Like how incredible is that, right?
You know what's crazy is like the kid will probably have to be in his like late teens before he could even think about watching some of the movies he made, you know, and that would be.
I think that, yeah, but like he did actually really good.
He
in that
did,
movie,
yeah.
Considering how old he was.
It was, yeah. Oh man, Pet Sematary. And they made Pet Sematary 2 and 3, and then they made 2 new remakes.
Well, see, and I had Pet Sematary 2 on my list, but then I realized, okay, that's not a Stephen King movie.
Right.
And
yeah, I would have let you have it.
Yeah, well, the only reason why it was on my list is because Edward Furlong was like all over my walls when I was a kid. And so when he came out, that was just shortly after Terminator 2, I think.
Yeah.
And so like,
man, you had as many man crushes as I had lady crushes. That makes me happy.
Well, my whole wall was Edward Furlong. He was, like he was the one I was going to run away with when I was 15. Right?
What a dirtbaggy looking boy.
Oh,
dude.
well, it's because he was so cool and he had the long hair.
Just
and
didn't care.
He didn't care, and he rode the dirt bike.
He was a Gen Xer through and through.
Yeah, but then when he came out in Pet Sematary 2, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But then you watch it, you're like, this is like the worst movie ever.
And in Pet Sematary, there's a great Stephen King cameo where he plays the priest doing the funeral at the gravesite. He's good in that. I mean, he's never a good actor, but he's also should never narrate any of his audiobooks. He's horrible a narrator as well. But yeah, Pet Sematary, awesome movie.
Yeah.
What do you got next for us, baby doll? I'll move this guy along, and yeah.
What do we have next, baby?
I always get a kick out of Pet Sematary spelt with an S, and then when I finally read the book, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Sometimes dead is better. Also, I wanted to talk about this for a minute. Haas says, I love how he does those phrases in his story. The heart of a man is stonier, Lewis. And I'm trying to think. The one that I know I've picked up from his books over the years is the phrase "full dark." You know, once the sun's completely gone down and it's full dark. I'd never heard it just said like that. It's funny his way with words. It's not much, but I love a lot of his phrases. He's very good with the English language.
Yeah.
What do you got next, sweetie?
Hang on, I had it circled here.
Always hard to decide anyway, but yeah, there's some people that say that Stephen King could certainly use an editor, somebody who would go through and cut his books down a fair bit. But I mean, at this point, the dude's almost 80 and he's written, I don't know, nearly 100 books, and people still buy them by the boatload. So I'm not worried about it. The last couple, boy, they're getting he's really injected his politics. And I mean, some people say he always have. I've never felt it like this. The last couple have been very strong, and I'm like, well, whatever. That's his own cup of tea. But the last one that I did not enjoy was Fairy Tale. That was the last one I tried to read, and I just stopped. I've seen that one. No, it's not a good one.
All right. Well, I've got 1408.
Oh yes, that's a good one too. I don't even have that on my list. It would have been an honorable mention for sure.
Well, I just watched it not too long ago. I watched it again. John Cusack is really not that good of an actor.
No, I was thinking that myself.
He really isn't, but the whole story itself, I like the story. But
and the visuals.
Yeah.
It's like some of the visuals in it are a very modern, well, the movie itself is 20 years old at least now, but it reminded me a lot of The Shining, but maybe a little scarier. It's a great movie, and it has a shitty ending in as much as it's a dark ending, but it's great. I mean, you imagine being trapped in a hotel room and the shit that he goes through. And
the thing is, though, but you watch it the first time, you're like, hey, it's really creepy. But then the more and more you watch it, you wonder how much of it is just in his head.
Sure.
Too, right? Because because you don't know, like, is it actually supposed to be spooks, or is it actually just his brain being messed up?
Right. And it could be, I want to read these two comments from Haas here before we go. But Haas says, I have 3 acres. The entry to the woods looks like the Pet Cemetery path at night. Always makes me smile. That would make me smile too.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
absolutely.
I love it. And then, yes, Haas says, I have a huge degree of respect for his work ethic. Writes every day but his birthday, and has for decades. And if I remember, I want to say it's something like 18 pages a day he writes. And here's the thing. Once he passes away, there is still a boatload of finished but unpolished. He calls them, what's he call them? Chest books, or he has like a wooden chest he keeps them in. But there's a ton of stuff out there that'll keep coming out. But either way, the dude is just a proficient writer.
Well, he's got to, like, remember we talked about that before. Like, he's got to have something wrong with him.
Oh, maybe a bit of autism or something.
Yeah, because like, and not to be, like to downplay him or like disrespect him in any way, but someone who classifies themselves as normal, or whatever the normal classification is, does not sit there and write things like that.
No, sure. Right. No, I get it. Yeah.
So like there's got to be something, like to have like a day or two where you could tinker around in his brain. It probably scare the shit out of a lot of people.
But he's a cool dude. Like
he's very laid back and he's very friendly and stuff. But he must have some dark closets up there.
Well, he always says that he gets it all out on paper so that he doesn't have it, But I mean, the dude loves baseball. He loves radio. He loves hard rock and heavy. Well, maybe not heavy metal, but hard rock. He's just a cool dude. Like, if you ever see him, he goes to Red Sox games and he takes novels with him and he reads books while he's at the games.
But the problem is, though, when you read some of his stuff, you're like, okay, what had to happen to somebody in order for them to think that way?
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, not saying anything could happen, but like, your brain has to go to some pretty dark places.
And he does. And some of them are so bad. Like, it would be interesting to ask him sometime if there was ever anywhere that he wanted to go, or that his brain tried to take him that he thought was too dark to put in a book. That would probably be the question if I ever had a chance to ask him.
Yeah. And it makes you wonder, like, how you go through every day like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like if you had to write something like that and you're writing 18 pages a day and your shit is like that, like,
and it's
like, are you enjoyable to even be around, or like, you know what I mean?
And it's dark and disturbing,
Yeah.
And what was, so 1408, it's got Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack in it.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, they team up again for the movie Cell. And that's one
on my list too.
Really? That's higher than 1408 on your list? Really?
Well, it was next.
Okay.
Yeah. I just
because
never put him.
I didn't love the movie. I think it could definitely.
The movie, like, the acting was shit.
Right.
But the premise behind the movie was pretty good. And it reminded me of Pulse.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I love the book, and I was really hoping, but it could very well be it could be well treated with a remake.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It ended up being straight to streaming, I think, because it was not really well liked.
Yeah.
But the concept is awesome. A zombie virus that transmitted through the cell phones. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
good.
it was a great movie.
Oh, I loved it. Okay, my number 2, and you'll know. Well, you'll know what my number 1 is. But so my number 2 is probably one of my big remote drop movies, and yours as well. But The Mist.
Yeah, I actually Mist was my next one. Too.
Oh, guys.
After The Cell.
So it is
The Cell and then The Mist.
It is so close to
we
a
just
perfect
watched it
film.
the other night, didn't we?
Wasn't that long ago?
Yeah, like a couple weeks just before I went to Spain, I think we watched it, didn't we?
I think we did, yes. It is. So apparently they released a black and white version of it, and they said it looks even better. So the Blu-ray, when I pick up the Blu-ray, that you can buy the special edition that has the black and white edition as well on it. But either way, it has everything. But it might have the darkest fucking ending of a movie in Hollywood history. I mean, maybe there's worse.
What's in his brain to be able to write that? Right?
Just so you know, that ending came from Frank Darabont. That ending does not happen in the book. Frank Darabont, the director of the movie and the writer, came up with that, and Stephen King's like, holy shit, that's darker than what I had.
Okay.
So that in that one instance, that was from the director, which is, but that movie, again, sucker for claustrophobic movies in small spaces with small cast, and it is perfect. You get to know the characters in that movie very quickly, and as quick as they're gone, of course. But it has cheesy 1950s monster effects in it, and it's a father and son movie. Oh, so much about that.
I think what I like about his movies is that I'd say at least 95 of them take place in Maine.
Oh yes,
right.
Yeah,
and I love how they always refer to each other as like their full names with the Maine accent.
Oh yes,
yeah, I love that in his
movies. Rebecca Cook. Yeah, I love the I can't do the Maine accent very well, but the is always yeah. And the one that plays Dale from Walking Dead, he's in 2 or 3 of the movies, and
so is Carol.
Carol, yeah, they're both Well, they all did a few movies together, and then they all went to The Walking Dead together.
Yeah.
So Frank Darabont was the showrunner for the first season of it, and then got kicked off by AMC and has been suing them ever since.
Oh, good.
So
shit out.
Yeah, it's been bad. So Haas says, I have 4 fiction books published on Kindle. Very cool. When I am in the writing habit, it's typical to put 1,100 words an hour. Holy shit, that's awesome. So 5 days, 25,000 words is a novella, doable with a job even. Good for you. I love hearing that. Yeah. And Rachel said, I just saw something about the movie Night Flyer. I don't know if I've seen anything yet. Haas says,
like a remake?
I don't know. Let's just take a look and see what we can find here. The Night Flyer. Is that a short story? Or here we are. I don't know. 2024. Is this it? I don't know. Directed by Robin George. I don't know if this is the right one. Anyway, we'll keep digging. And then Ian says, such a visceral ending. Reminds me of the original Saw movie. Yep. The original Saw movie is, the ending's on par with that. I love the original Saw movie.
Yeah.
And it's such a different film from all the other ones.
I only saw the original. I've seen other ones like just little bits and pieces. And then you see, spoilers online and stuff, but I've never actually seen any other Saw movie except for
the other ones are so much different than the first one.
Yeah.
The first one is a self-contained horror movie, and the rest of them are these big, grandiose torture porn films.
Yeah.
That, they started getting really big when Hostel got big, and I don't love them. Yeah.
Well, the only thing that I seen like bits and pieces, like where she falls into the big pit with the needles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like I couldn't tell you any more about that movie because I never saw it. So I just saw that little clip.
So speaking of torture porn, I've been going back and forth on even whether I want to see Terrifier 3 or not. But I enjoyed 2. I did. Like, I know you didn't love the movie.
Stupid.
But would you watch it with me if we watch it? Or
I will.
Yeah.
But I will be honest. The Terrifier movies are friggin' dumb.
That's fine. It's just been up my alley, but I don't know. The third one apparently is pretty rough and raw around the edges. But
I think it's the problem is it's so much that it's not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like you can be really, really gory and really, but like you got to leave something to the imagination, right? Like, or it's just kind of like, okay, well, this is stupid.
Ian says, I take it you're not a fan of Hostel. That's not true.
I like Hostel.
I love the first Hostel.
I didn't mind the second one.
The second one was okay, but so I always reference Hostel, and the reason is because it started a genre, you know, of just nasty, violent movies for the sake of nasty. And Hostel had a story. It was original. And I don't mind. I mean, I love gory horror. I mean, what's the French one that we love? High Tension.
High Tension. But you know what, though?
Man.
Before Hostel, though, there was I Spit on Your Grave.
The remake.
Yeah, no, but they're remakes, right? Those were originals, right? And I Spit on Your Grave, and then there was
House at the End of the
Street.
Yeah.
And like those are pretty.
So I guess what I'm saying is those all came out of the 70s exploitation era. Mm-hmm. And then you got the slashers, and then around the mid 80s, the MPAA started really cracking down.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden they take and what you used to, Last House on the Left. That
one was pretty bad.
And so 70s exploitation. You had movies like Cannibal Holocaust, and you had movies where I can't remember the movie, but the guy's in a barrel and they drive nails into it. Yeah. And it's so raw and so like there's something about 70s cinema that's great. Just watch.
Well, Texas
Chainsaw Massacre is a perfect example of 70s exploitation horror. And I love it. And then the early slashers are great, like the first Freddy and the first couple of Jasons, until they cut the hell out of them and there's no violence left. And so then for a long time you go 80s, which is like cheesy horror. Everything's funny.
Well, but it was like I found the late 70s and 80s. It was basically it was cheese, but it was based on big boobs, sex,
sure,
and like that. Well, that type of thing. Right?
You go back to the 70s, and sex and violence were almost treated identically in those movies. You know what I mean?
But then you get to the whole like Jasons and stuff,
sure,
where it's just like, you know, the camp counselors with the massive boobs, and you know, and that's basically what it turned. You know, that's what it turns into.
So,
but then you get. But I like the smart ones.
Yeah, and so I guess that's what I'm coming around to, and I guess that is part of the problem with Terrifier is I don't like violence for just the sake of violence. You know, it's like watching, I don't know. Okay. The movie where they go to Vegas, what is it with Zach Galifianakis and everything, where they wake up and Mike Tyson's in it and everything, and they made like 4 of them. Bradley Cooper.
Oh yes, I know which one you're talking about.
Oh my God, why can't I think of the name of it?
I've never watched.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the first one was original and it was funny, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, let's Hangover. Thank you, Byron. I really liked the first one, and then all of a sudden it becomes a trend, and so all these movies follow suit. And it doesn't mean that just because something's a trend doesn't mean what comes after it is going to be less, but it typically does mean that. Yeah,
and the first Hostel movie, I like it was violent.
Yeah,
but it was a smart movie.
Sure. Well, it was. Yeah,
like it was original, and it was something that, you know, like we had never seen before or anything like that. But then you go back and you're like.
But then he did. Remember Green Inferno? He did that one.
Yeah,
and that was stupid.
And of course, and then there's always the one I refer to. Then you get the really violent ones, you know, like a Siberian film.
Sure, yeah, which I've never seen.
Clockwork Orange. You get
no, not that one.
Clockwork. That's a violent one too.
But that's more from the 70s.
I know, but you get to those like
how about Human Centipede?
Human Centipede.
You know,
the first one was disgusting, but the second one is even grosser.
Yeah,
and like, but there's that fine line where you're like, okay, I'm watching this because it's supposed to be a scary movie, and it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, and if anybody has seen a Siberian film, it's disgusting. It's not even entertaining.
It's where it becomes shock for shock value, right?
But it's beyond that, though. Yeah. Like, it's disgusting, and you're watching, and you're like you almost feel gross watching it. And
well, I felt a little bit like that during the second Terrifier, when the girl wakes up and her face isn't on there, and she's you know, so I get it, but but I enjoyed, it's Artie the Clown or whatever. I really enjoyed him, and I loved the soundtrack from the movie, and I love the practical effects.
Yeah.
So we'll watch it. and then I'll tell you whether I ever watch the fourth one or not. But
is there a fourth one?
He announced he's going to make the fourth one, and then that's supposedly the last one. But how can you not? It's making boatloads of money
because again, they're doing that nostalgia.
Oh yeah. Well, they're just milking the franchise. So.
Yeah, and I don't know. I hadn't even heard of the Terrifier until you mentioned the second one, and I was like, okay, I have no idea what that even is.
Because I hadn't heard of it, and I hadn't heard the first one because it was so small and wasn't well received.
When did the first one even come out?
It was a few years before the second one.
Okay, yes, yeah, I never even heard of it.
It was done for like $200,000 or something crazy.
The
like
second
that.
one couldn't have been done for much more.
Yeah, no, they did a lot with the second one with its budget, and they made like 15 million in the theaters, and this new one's going to make 30 to 35. So yeah, I'll watch it. What do you got next for us, baby doll?
Am I on number one?
One or two, whatever you got left. I've got one left on my list.
Oh well, my number one was Pet Sematary.
Oh, okay. Is there any that we missed?
Not that. Honestly, I have a soft spot for Children of the Corn.
Yes, you do. All of them? No.
No, just the original one with Linda Hamilton. I do have a soft spot for that one, and I have a soft spot for Christine.
Oh yes, Christine's so cheesy too.
It is, but I wouldn't put them on my list. I wouldn't put them as number one, but I do have a soft spot for them.
Do you know what my number one's going to be?
Yes, The Stand.
The Stand, yes.
And I probably would have picked The Stand, but you said movies.
Well, so. I know. So I couldn't go to anything else. So here, let's bring it up. And if you haven't seen it,
I love The Stand.
So many of Stephen King's made-for-TV movies and miniseries were absolute ass. Almost all of them, to be honest, right? Almost all of them.
Actually, you know which one was really good? I've mentioned it before. They're on the island, and they have to pick the pebbles out of the bag.
The lottery, isn't it?
No, it's not the lottery.
It's based on the lottery, though.
No, the parents pick the pebbles, and whoever picked the black pebble, the child had to go with the demon.
Oh,
which one was that?
Yeah, hang on. Storm of the Century.
Storm of the Century.
So,
I do like that one.
So Storm of the Century was written as a teleplay. He wrote it for TV. He did not write it as a book. And then it was adapted to a book later on. But he wrote it as a teleplay to be put on television. And
I did like that.
Storm of the Century is good. And I really enjoyed it. It was really, I enjoyed quite a bit. And so if you have, so I'm just going to prepare everybody for this because part of this might be my nostalgia glasses, but my all-time, I have been obsessed with post-apocalyptic literature since I was a kid. And that goes right back to my 1980s evangelical days of my, of everybody making you watch those stupid Rapture movies from when you were a kid. Thief in the Night. Well, you're thinking of, those ones with Cage. Yeah, Nicolas Cage. I can't. And it was also Kirk Cameron did a version of it as well. Left Behind.
Left Behind. Yeah. That was so creepy.
So it was, but the one that I watched as a kid that scared the fucking shit out of me was Thief in the Night. And I'm pretty sure that's what gave me an obsession with the end of the world. I'm sure it is. Have no doubt. So anyway, because of that, I've been obsessed with post-apocalyptic literature my whole life. And the day I found The Stand and I read The Stand, I knew I'd never find anything better. I absorbed it. I've read it 2 or 3 times now, including the unabridged version, and I loved it. And I had read it once, I think, when I saw this, or I might have seen this first. And this, to me, it was so well done, and it was made for TV. Mm-hmm. There's very little blood. There's no hard R cursings, but it just took the movie or took the book and turned it into an incredible miniseries.
Well, and the problem with the Stand, the thing with The Stand is that it doesn't have to be a hard R.
No, but it could be.
It could be, but the story tells itself.
Sure, it does.
Incredibly without needing all that. Because, it just leaves enough to the imagination where you're like, holy shit, that's really bugging me.
And when it opens with Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult, and it's panning down underground into the sealed off scientific labs, and you see the guy's dead in his soup, and my God, everything about the dude who did it it's unreal that he was able to do such a good movie, because he did almost every made-for-TV Stephen King before and after, including the Shining miniseries.
Oh Lord.
And he's horrible. This is the only one that he knocked it out of the park with.
Well, I think it had a lot to do with the actors too.
Oh, I mean, Gary Sinise is so good.
Molly Ringwald.
Take her or leave her.
But I do love Gary Sinise.
Oh, yeah. And the black lady, I don't know who she was that played Mother Abigail. She was so good. And and even the new, like in the new version of it too, like it's got Skarsgård in it. Yeah.
Not Bill, his brother, and Alexander.
Yeah.
Right. And he's actually, I don't mind him. He's actually a pretty good actor. But then they had to go ahead and ruin it and put what's her face in it.
Molly Ringwald. No. Oh no, sorry, the new. Oh yeah, Amber
Heard.
Yeah.
Like why they had to like they could have done so much better with that. But the new one actually isn't horrible.
But
like
it's the biggest problem with the new one. Two things: it's forgettable.
Yeah.
You watch it and it's done. I would never go back and watch it again if I you know what I mean. Like it didn't.
I might go watch it again.
It strayed from the source material, but what it did was it tried to be. You know what it felt like? It felt like an HBO series from the early 90s, where it just tried to be like edgy and sexy for the sake of being edgy and sexy, instead of telling a story, instead of going on to like what started with, well, The Sopranos. You could go back a little further with like 6 Feet Under and The Shield. Was that the one? Or The Wire, whatever it was. Anyway, but you know, from The Sopranos on, they're like, okay, we're still going to do hard R, but we're going to tell good stories. But it's like they forgot to tell. I mean, The Stand tells itself, and yet it still wasn't a great.
Well, and how many times do we quote MOON spells moon?
I was just going to say, yeah. MOON spells Tom. Yeah.
That's.
I mean,
I think I quote that to Mackenzie all the time when he does something stupid. I'm like, MOON spells Mackenzie.
And my thing is now when I read the book, I picture these guys, all these guys as the characters. Yeah. It was so well done, and it shows that you can still do a PG-13 made for TV horror movie that is scary and effective.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, we watch it about once a year.
Yeah.
And it's not short. It's
been a couple years.
Yeah, we're probably due to watch it again.
We should watch it with the girls.
Yeah.
We should actually
might find it cheesy.
No, we should watch this one and then watch the new one.
Yeah, we could
watch the new one and then this one.
Yeah.
And have them do a comparison of which one they like.
I wanted to throw this up here. Byron says we watched Thief in the Night so many times at church camp. I believe it. Oh, there was like 3 of them in the series.
Now, see, I went to Catholic schools and everything, and I've never even heard of that movie.
You wouldn't. The Catholics aren't obsessed with the end of the world like 80s evangelicals were. I mean, they literally wrote a book called 88 Reasons the Rapture is going to happen in 1988. And then they're like, oh, I was wrong. So then they put out the sequel next year, 89 Reasons Why the Rapture is going to happen in 89. So it's just been an obsession with.
I suppose the Catholics aren't.
No, they're more obsessed with money, and I'm not going to say the other thing.
No, they're more obsessed with making sure they get their money and basically making sure you procreate.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but I was thinking more of.
Anyway. Oh, I know.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, everybody knows. I'm not going to say it. I know.
You say it.
I won't say it. I'm fine. Everybody knows what I was talking about. But yeah, and Haas is Born Again Christians. Yep, they set me in front of the rapture porn. That's, from mid 80s to mid two. So when I went to college to be a pastor, and at that point was the height of the Left Behind book series. It was what Tim LaHaye and somebody else that wrote them, and I was like 12 or something crazy like that. I can't remember.
No, I do remember watching the Left Behind movie with Kirk Cameron.
Yeah, and it was bad.
He's some crazy.
Oh, he's insane
yeah,
now.
He's some crazy.
Yeah. And I'm not going to judge people for what they believe. I'm just going to be honest with my experiences where I grew up, and it was not a conducive, mindset. That's for sure.
Yeah,
it was just tough. Yeah, and I never read the Left Behind books, but they were a big deal at the time. Like from late 90s to mid 2000s, they were. You know
what I read in the late 90s is V.C. Andrews.
Oh yeah, you loved your V.C. Andrews stuff, didn't you?
I love V.C. and I'll still read. Now I read it, I'm like, oh my gosh, what the hell was I reading? What did my mother let me read when I was 12?
Ah, well, I was reading Stephen King, so
yeah, but V.C. Andrews,
I know, well,
incestual, and
I know, and you still enjoy the book, so I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know any horror movies that have come out lately that we haven't seen that you wanted to.
I
that
don't
you want to
think
see?
so. Which one did we? Well, we went and
What
seen.
did we see, baby?
Well, we seen the new Quiet Place.
Oh yeah, I love that. I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot better than number 2. Yeah.
Actually, I think I like number 2 better.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fine.
And
this is whoops.
I don't know if there was any other horror movies that I've.
This is one here that we really got to make time to watch. This is with the same actor that came from Dinner in America that we liked so much.
Oh, okay.
So I hope I haven't hyped it up too much for you, but I've heard it's a really well. It says nothing is what it seems when a twisted one-night stand spirals into a serial killer's vicious murder spree. It kind of has like a 90s vibe, like a Tarantino vibe, you know?
Okay.
So, but I've intentionally not learned anything about the movie. So,
you know which one I do want to watch is as much as I can't stand her is that one with Anna Kendrick.
I don't know what that is. What is it,
the
baby?
Netflix one. It's based on that true story where the dating show Serial Killer.
Oh yeah.
I want to watch that one.
I could definitely take her or leave her. Like I'm not a big fan of hers at all. So here we go. Upcoming. It's coming up. Unsound? Nope. Woman of the Hour? No.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah. That's okay. Love Life?
Nope.
All right. Well, anyway,
it's based on a true story. Right there. It's that one. Right there.
That one? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go.
That one. Yeah.
Woman of the Hour, 2023. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's based on a true story where the guy was actually a serial killer and he went on that dating show
to get victims.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know if it was a victim, but yeah. And she survived, but the guy is a real serial killer.
Says Cheryl Bradshaw, a single woman looking for a suitor on a hit 1970s TV show, chooses charming bachelor Rodney Alcala, unaware that behind the man's gentle facade, he hides a deadly secret.
Yeah, and he actually is a serial killer.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and because I've read about it on Reddit.
Is this a movie or a show? Yeah, a movie.
It's a movie. It's on net. I want to watch that one.
Yeah, a film by Anna Kendrick. She must have produced it then. Good for her.
Yeah, but I have heard it's supposed to be pretty good.
Yes, and
so I'd like to watch that.
Another one is Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah, that one's actually supposed to be pretty good too.
That's one I'd like to see. Let's just
we just don't have any time to watch anything.
I know. Top horror films 2024. Let's see what's been out that we haven't seen yet.
50. Jesus.
Yeah, we're not going to go. Well,
I was say how the hell did they release 50?
I know. Late Night with the Devil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Why do they have to bring up these pop-ups that make?
Oh, I know.
Like what do I? Here we go. Okay. Late Night with the Devil. Oddity I haven't seen or heard of. Infested again. In Flames. Nope. They're Strange Darling. That's yeah. New Life. So this one here, everybody's been talking about. The Substance.
Is that the one with
Demi Moore? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
I am not a Demi Moore fan at all.
My favorite critics on YouTube said stop motion is really good.
We actually seen Long Legs.
Yeah. One of my favorites of the year, I'm going to say, but you...
Well, no, yeah. I didn't mind it. Amy seen it.
Yeah.
And she said that she was really disappointed in it because I think it's one of those movies where you almost have to watch it a couple times to kind of grasp what's going on because it is really... it's really scattered.
Oh, it's a slow burn.
It's very slow and it's really scattered. Like you're watching it and you're like, okay, what just happened? What did I miss? And it doesn't give a lot of detail.
I also want to say, I'm not going to ruin it, but if you have a certain background, you'll enjoy the movie more a little bit anyway. You know, it's stuff that we've kind of talked about tonight, but give yourself a chance to watch it, Ian, when you get a chance. It's a slow burn. It's a solid, 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah. And I found the first little bit, you're just like, oh, really?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was in a similar spot thinking, where's this going? But it pays off.
And there was a couple times in the first hour, I was like, what just happened? What did we miss? Or what is going on? And I'm just like, I didn't understand. But then it kind of connects it all, but then it doesn't.
It's weird. Yeah.
Nicolas Cage is very, very strange.
Oh, but he's good in it. Yeah.
Smile 2 is actually supposed to be pretty good.
So again, if you asked me, pick a film that is going to be an absolute steaming pile of dog shit this year, Smile 2 would have been right up there. And everyone has had nothing but glowing reviews.
Yeah, I heard it was actually pretty good. And that one, I watched that one the other night.
Which one, baby? Was it on the list there?
Yeah, it was.
Hang on, I'll bring it back up for you.
This one here was
Speak
the
No Evil?
no,
Oh, no.
this one
Abigail.
Abigail. I watched that one the other night.
Really?
What a steaming pile of
bad?
dog shit.
Yeah. Isn't that it's a PG-13, isn't it? Or is it?
I don't know. What a stupid movie.
I heard it was bad.
Yeah.
So this one's on the list. I watched this with my daughters the other night. If you guys saw my episode with Worm, you'd know I was, pleasantly surprised. This is a Gen Z movie. This is made by a Gen Z director, Gen Z writer for a Gen Alpha crowd. And I'm like, well, I got to watch it. So I watched it on the plane coming back from Tennessee. And the craziest thing was I watched it, didn't tell Charlotte and Alice I was going to watch it. I get home the next day. They're like, Dad, guess what movie we watched last night? They watched this as well. It's a trippy movie. It's a slow burn with very little dialogue. The type of movie I liked when I was in high school. I'm impressed they're making these movies today for Gen Zers because this is an actual film. It's not a bunch of TikToks clipped together for, likes and clout. This is legit. Like it's a filmmaker's movie. Does it stray into some territory? You're like, yeah, but the movie itself was really good. So then we went and watched I'll Meet You at the World's Fair, which was also done by this director. And I enjoyed it. That's all I can say. It was fun. So what else we got on the list? Abigail, You'll Never Find Me, Alien. So this one here, guys, this is another one that people have talked about. We haven't watched yet. In a Violent Nature. It is a film like Jason, or like Friday the 13th, but it's filmed from the killer's perspective. It's just like a camera that follows behind him the whole time. It's really slow. It's almost like a experimental film a little bit. So I may not make you watch it, but I think you might like it. I don't know. We try.
It'll be kind of like Henry.
Portrait of a Serial Killer. I like that movie.
And do not waste your time on those stupid Maxine.
Yeah.
And
X
Pearl.
was okay.
No, it wasn't. It was.
It was just a play on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's for sure.
It was just a lower rated porn. That's all it was. And
I get there. Was a little bit,
but Maxine and although they just look stupid.
I guess that's about it for horror right now.
Yeah, it wasn't
been a bit of a quiet year for it, I guess.
Immaculate is supposed to actually be pretty good, but
I just don't like her.
No.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
No, me neither.
But other than that, I guess, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
Never even saw the first one.
No, we didn't. But so there we are. There'll be a few. I don't know what's upcoming, what's left to come up this year. I don't know if there's much, but
probably not much for horror.
I know. Let's see, horror films for
25.
November and December 2024. Let's see what we can bring up here. If there's anything. I see these lists are always outdated before they come up, but October, November, that's DVD, home media release. Heretic, now Nosferatu, that might be okay.
That's one with Nicolas Cage, and I heard it.
Are you sure? I don't think it's Nicolas Cage.
No, sorry.
This is like a traditional
That's Bill
retelling.
Skarsgård.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking of the Dracula movie with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, someone said that was dog shit too.
Yeah. Renfield.
Yes.
Yeah. So this one here is Robert Eggers. He did that Viking movie, The Northman, The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Telltale Heart. He seems to
actually. This is supposed to. He likes the Skarsgård.
Yeah.
He
does.
It actually. I heard this one was supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, I did too, and it probably will be. And Wolfman. So there's Wolfman coming out here, and that is. I don't know. It's yet another remake of the Universal movies from way back. This would be similar to remember The Invisible Man from a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
But I've heard great things about this. So we'll see. The early reviews on it have been good. But that's about it. That's all that's left to come out this year. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Heart Eyes. I don't even know what that is. No, if it comes out in January, February.
Devin Sawa. Well, there you go.
All right.
And Jordan Brewster.
Oh yeah. What was she? Fast and the Furious, right? Yeah.
Well, won't be wasting my time on that movie.
Excuse me. Haas says, have you watched the new movie Substance? Even heard hardcore moviegoers leave. We haven't yet, but that's the one with Demi Moore. And so she takes some sort of substance that she's an aging Hollywood, starlet that is washed up at this point, and she wants to get her looks back. So she takes the substance, and I don't remember who the girl is. We know the girl. She's in a lot of movies that plays the younger her.
Okay.
But apparently it gets pretty graphic, a lot of body horror in it,
Okay.
So I'd be worth.
So it's kind of like Death Becomes Her then.
But an R-rated version, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I heard some talk that they were supposed to be remaking that one.
I have too. Yeah. But again, probably doesn't need to be. You know what else I forgot? That a young Bruce Willis, or a fairly young Bruce Willis, was in that movie.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he plays the husband.
I forgot about that. But I haven't watched that since I rented it Long Branch Rental back in like 1990 or whatever it was.
I watched it on VHS. My grandmother had it on VHS. Oh, yeah. Because she loved Goldie Hawn.
Really?
That was, she.
Which dog is snoring over there? Is that Angus?
That is Sir Angus.
Oh, he's so tired, guys.
He's not. He's been sleeping all day. Well, he's been with me all day sleeping. So.
Anything else you wanted to cover tonight, baby doll?
No. We should plan that we have to do a giveaway around Christmas time.
Yeah, we will. Absolutely. So the next thing I got to come up with here soon is what we're going to do for the King of the Hill episode this year for Christmas. We did the Y2K. No, but that'll be around. We have these, the traditions we do at each.
And I'll admit it, I don't like King of the Hill.
No, that's fine.
Sorry.
But this next year, I totally dropped the ball last year with Groundhog Day. We didn't watch it last year. So we did it 2 years in a row, then missed a year. So we'll do Groundhog Day this year too. But yeah, the Christmas is the Y2K episode of King of the Hill. And here's the thing. It's 25 years, since Y2K, which is insane. Hello, baby.
Yeah. And, we'll
do a Christmas, Christmas themed trivia night again. That's always a lot of fun.
Yeah. And we've got, it's coming up. So we're heading down to Tennessee on December 4th.
4th to the 11th, I think.
4th to the 11th, yep. And I don't imagine we'll be doing much. We're just going to the party.
I'd like to try to record a few interviews with people while I'm down there.
Yeah, just while we're at the party, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll probably, I don't know if we're planning on going back up to the property.
We'll have to go for a day to see it or something. I can't go all the way down there without stopping,
But I hope everyone can come to the party anyway.
Yeah, that'll be good. And then we got another trip, second week in January.
First week
in January. We decided to skip Christmas this year, kind of, and we're going to Mexico. So
we got the kids, and if anybody ever looks into it, just so you know, like if you spend an average of $500 or $600 per kid at Christmas time, it's actually cheaper to go to Mexico.
Oh, 100% it is.
And we got to the point now where the kids are at that age where we'd rather make memories than give them items
and those little buggers fucking love to travel.
Oh, so, they do. Yeah. But even they don't need anything.
No.
Right. And
yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
They're good. Yeah.
And just so anybody knows, so this is.
I just want to shout out Chris. I just want to say, Chris Dixon's leaving. He says, "Sorry, had to carve pumpkins. Could be the last time I get to do it with the boys. Have a great night, all." And I get it. Last year we didn't see it coming. Our girls didn't go trick or treating, so all of a sudden we're at home and we're like, "What do we do?" So that's why I'm doing my Halloween episode tomorrow night instead of.
I didn't even buy pumpkins this year.
No, it is what it is, man. But I get it. I get it, Dixon. Yeah. A lot of times you don't know when the last time you're going to get to do a tradition with your kids are. So
the girls
enjoy the hell out of it.
Girls have no interest in carving pumpkins, which is cool.
Too cool for school.
I don't particularly enjoy doing it either. So, but
yeah, we'll try to get another live in here before too long. Now that you're officially off duty for a while because you're Paul since you got it cut.
Yeah, I can't drive.
No, but I'm heading up tomorrow. Myself and my son-in-law Kurt, we're going up to Lloyd. Leaving here around 7:30. We're going to get some work done. Got to hang some coat hooks and get a solar light set up. You guys will probably see a video on that coming up, and try to get some more drywall done. We're really close to being ready to paint. We could start painting. And then going back up Friday. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we'll have the weekend off. And then, our son's birthday, Mac, on Monday. And we're taking him to an Oilers game, which will be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be it. And for you, baby, what do you got coming up? Just chilling, right?
Well, we're trying to get we're working on getting the new daycare.
Yep. And the second story edition.
Yeah, the second story.
Pretty excited about that.
Other than that, I don't really have any.
That's all we're focusing on, right?
Yeah, like you said, we're going down to John's there in December.
I'm stoked about that.
And then Mexico in January. And that's pretty much about it. I don't really have any big plans on the go.
You know what I love? I know it was the same last year, but not having to clear snow this year. How fucking awesome is that? I love it. Yeah. But Yeah. Well, you want to call her quits from here, baby? Yeah.
BB said hi to everybody.
Oh, yeah. You didn't introduce her. You can introduce her.
This is BB.
Short for Beatrice.
Beatrice.
She looks like a drowned rat.
She looks like Chewbacca.
Yeah, we let her hair grow like a mullet. So
yeah, I get her hair cut like a mullet.
She figured out the stairs. She figured out the stairs very young. So
yeah.
So her, Angus, and Maisie, the only ones other than the stupid cats, right?
Well, this one's pathetic.
Oh, when spring training? It's coming. Yeah, no, I think it's just right about coming down to watch it. Yeah, right. I'll go to Florida to watch a Jays game with them.
Oh yeah, do they still train down there?
Oh, they sure do. Dunedin.
Dunedin,
yeah. They built a whole new facility just before they renovated the Sky Dome.
Oh,
so,
okay. Yeah.
Oh, we could. It would be fun, wouldn't it, to go down? I'd love that, Ian. Smoke some cigars and go watch a couple of Jays games. Oh man.
Yeah, the girls would probably like to go to Florida.
Yeah, they would. Fuck yeah, man. And it's not even. Well, it is kind of hurricane season then, isn't it? No, it does. Hurricane season starts in March, doesn't it?
I thought it was November.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, you betcha. Yeah, that would be fun if we can make it happen this year. If we can't, we'll make it happen.
You know what? I always went down to Florida over March break.
If you look at the long
you just get rain, but they didn't get anything.
But it is what it is. I mean, you just you watch the weather just like everybody does, and if it looks good, you go.
Flooding over in Spain.
I meant to tell you that they had flash floods.
Yeah.
Were you near Valencia? Were you near Valencia? No.
We
okay.
Valencia, no.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah. Oh man, that would be cool to have like a workshop get together while we're down there. He said, Pippin, you're welcome to join anyone else that's close enough. That would be a good excuse to have a couple of baseball beers and some cigars and go watch a game or two. I would love that, Ian. I can't promise we'll make it work this year.
Yeah.
But we will
I'm
have
not
it in the
baseball
pipeline.
Fan.
No, but you would still go to Florida.
Oh, absolutely.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'd take the girls to Disney or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd skip Disney in a heartbeat. Yeah, there.
Universal. I'd rather go Universal.
I don't want to skip Universal, but I would. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. So, all right, folks, we're going to call it quits there. We're just shy of the 2-hour mark, so it was a good night. I love our chilly, laid-back episodes like this. They're a lot of fun, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. All right, guys. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great